Hello folks, LA Little here, TA Today, and today I want to talk about something that doesn't get talked about enough, and that is risk. How do you measure risk? How do you know where risk is? It's a perennial problem because, you can have a bull market and it can drop 5%, 7%, 10%. How far can it drop and still be a bull market? That's always the question, right? Well, it depends on several things. It depends on your time frames, but it depends on being able to pick a spot that makes sense, right? And one of the things I did when I designed the Neoclassical was to say to myself, how can I know which side of the market I want to be on? Trend. How can I know when to get in, when to get out? That's risk, really. It's timing, but it's risk as well. You need to know where your risk points are. You can't control how much you're going to make. You can control how much you're going to lose, and that's the key. And so today I just want to go through that real quickly, show you the way I do it. Anybody can do things differently, right? They can use different tools, whatever. I'm not trying to tell you use my tools. I'm just trying to tell you you have to use some tool because you have to know what risk is. So let's take a look here at what I'm talking about. So I've got the S&P chart up here. And so the S&P, if I'm looking at it, I could have different types of moving averages, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people like to use moving averages. I don't use that. I'm more interested in where is the demand going to show up? Where is the supply going to show up? So when I look at this chart, I can just pull up my retest regen and see where that price point is. This area is the support area. This is where we should see buyers come in. That's where demand should pick up. Now we've kind of got this, if you look at this, and we'll look at it on a weekly, we got a gravestone doji going on coming in last week. This could easily fill this gap and come back into this retest regen zone. And then, you would want to know that this is probably a buy. And it's more than 6 bars, retest regen, yes, it's going to be a buy. And that's the sort of thing you need to know. That tells you how much to expect this thing to fall and still be a buy. And I actually built myself some tools that I share with others that use the site that will let you figure out what that is. So if I put in the S&P 500, I put it on the daily, and I say I want to measure back to a retest regen zone, I can see what that percentage is, right? So the high is back at 6764. And so when I see that, I can see here that I've got to get back to this area, and it's like 1.5%. It's nothing. But if you move out to different time frames, you're going to see different things. So if I take this, for example, and go out to the weekly and look at that, what I'm going to see there is I could come all the way back to here, and that's going to be the buy zone. And if I'm going to want to be trading on a weekly, I have to assume that I can take a hit that brings me all the way back to there. So if I change this to a weekly, generate it, and ask myself, where is it? That's 10%. So I'm taking a 10% risk because if it gets back to here, it's a buy. That's what these bars tell you. Retest regen, not tested, way more than 6 bars. It's going to be a buy. And so I have to be able to either stop out somewhere, assume a 10% risk and be okay with it on the general market, right? But I could do this on any stock as well. That's risk. That's what you need to know. And so I hope you can see what I'm doing. You can do it in whatever way you find useful or easy. But for me, this is the thing. Here's that little gravestone doji I was talking about. We'll see if today actually finishes down. I'm recording this, it's about an hour into the market, it looks like here, 45 minutes in. And we're just getting the day started. Gap up, and they sold it off. That's it for today. Have a great one. See you next time. If you like what I do, drop me a like. Give me your comments. How do you do it? How do you measure risk? How do you assume how far you're going to let something go before you pull the plug on it? I'd be curious to know. Have a great one.